welcome to all three of you listening. This is the Stay Grounded podcast, and appreciate whoever's tuning in. Shout out to the Platypus team, shout out to the basketball team, whoever may be here. Let's get some rough introductions out of the way. We have one of the brains behind it all, Philip Kulkowski.
Yes, sir, the point guard of it.
The point guard, the hooper.
I was looking at our voice memos before we started this.
Yeah.
And almost a month since we recorded episode 0, sleeping on the floor in this room. So it's kind of crazy how quick that went.
You're right. We can get into the history of Stay Grounded, but we wouldn't have started without the man's roof over our head. Joshua Dacey's here as well.
Hello, guys. With Riz.
Oh man.
Glad to be here.
So get Kim some very good input from that man on that side of the table.
Clearly.
You'll hear
Look,
from me all day.
we'll get the housekeeping out of the way. Audio only to start with. Moving into visuals eventually.
One day.
Yeah, if you've read the bio of this podcast, NBA talk. NBA talk is going to be the main focus, and anything fun. But the point is to stay grounded in the same room that Phil and I stay grounded. I think reasons for this podcast, last time you and I were in here, Phil, we really went through a whole NBA season bracket.
We went through a lot. But yeah, we are going to be... We're classified as a sports podcast, but I kept saying to you guys, I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into anything.
No, there's more than sport.
Exactly. So whatever's relevant, whatever there is to talk about, we're here for that.
Anything fun, they said. So tune in. It's going to be a good session. Bear with us as we go through it, and we'll just get better as we go. So we're going to head right into it. It's been a big week of NBA stuff. Needless to say, or maybe needing to say, involving one of Josh's favorite teams, if not his favorite team, the New York Knicks. Big week trade-wise. Josh,
First trade of the season.
First trade of the season. In fact, trade deadline coming up somewhat soon.
A month.
3 months. So it's
Month-ish.
2 months. Yeah, month, sorry.
All-star break, buddy.
Come up quicker than we think. Josh, give us your thoughts. Obviously, OG Anunoby traded to the Knicks from the Raptors for RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. Your initial thoughts as a fan?
There was I'll just interject. There was a second round pick as well going to Toronto, and then the Knicks also got Malachi Flynn and Precious Achua.
That's a nice name. Female name. Nice name.
I think the trade came at a good time. He took a few bad losses. RJ Barrett wasn't playing too great, so glad he's gone. Wasn't a fan. Losing quickly sucked, but I think the 2 games we've played, OG's had the best plus minus on the whole roster, so it's been a good start.
OG's a god, man. OG is... I was talking to Phil about it in the group chat not long ago, but ever since he hit that game winner on the Celtics in 2021, my eye's been on that guy. All I know from him is
wait till Malachi Flynn gets some minutes, bro. He's the evil Dante DiVincenzo.
To think he's not even American is crazy. Fun fact for you guys.
He's British.
No, I like it. I think it came at a good time for both teams. I think both teams were just waiting to do something. The Knicks have been kind of linked to getting rid of RJ for years. And the Raptors just had to switch something up. I don't know if you guys have watched many Raptors games since the trade, but they just look more fun. I think
they're good, like Raptors with 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, and obviously I think both teams have more moves coming. I think the Knicks are going to try and add more at the deadline. I think the Raptors obviously going to try and get rid of Siakam. But yeah, I think as soon as the Raptors made any kind of move, they were going to play with a bit more life. I think it's worth noting as well for the Knicks. OG's got another year left on his deal with a player option, but last offseason he left Clutch Sports to sign with an agency who's the son of Leon Rose with the Knicks. So he originally was looking for 40 mil, which, whether he's going to get that or not, I doubt it. But he said he's willing to take a pay cut, so he went to a team who wants to be out as well, and I think that's always worth something.
Yeah, Raptors are interesting, man. I've always been keen on Dick, and that being Grady Dick. I just wanted to make that clear. He's definitely the future of the organization. At one point...
He's not even getting minutes.
Yeah, he's currently...
struggling in the G League, bro.
He's in the G League.
He's in the G League, but I see him as one of those development players that will pop up. Give it 2-3 years, I think he'll pop back up.
What about Scotty Barnes? Like the actual franchise player.
Barnes is there. I think...
That's like a future MVP, maybe.
Bro's an ableist.
And don't get me wrong, his ability is huge. I just think I see... Maybe future of the team is a big call, but I see...
I think he can be part of the core, for sure, if that's what you're trying to say. I think that's a safe bet.
I see him as like a Quinn Cook, who's not the
That's a very low bar.
Yeah. Quinn Cook, Melbourne United legend.
Quinn Cook next season.
Melbourne United legend.
Well, he's putting up less points than Quinn Cook is right now.
He's got good girth. On the court.
Anyway.
Good defensively. One day, maybe.
But yes, needless to say, this Raptors team is fun. I do miss Freddie VanVleet on the squad. He was, he's fun to watch.
He didn't do very well though, like to finish his time there.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, from a personal career point, it sucks. But he was fun to watch. I would tune into Raptors games just to watch Freddie kind of pop off.
He's making too much music though now. He's got a lot going on.
I thought he was meant to be taking a break, but apparently he's not. Freddie went on a bit of a run. Remember where he would put up like back to back 40, 30, 35, 40-point games.
Fred is cool, man. I think the stuff that happened in Toronto last couple of seasons, it's hard to blame him as well. Because they had that 6'8" experiment where they had no shooting, so he was the only dude that could space the floor while being undersized. And he got thrown a lot of they call them grenades, where it's like the end of the shot clock and you just have to throw up a Hail Mary. So it's like his percentage is down, his numbers are down, but he's still like a solid, like safe guard to have. I mean, it shows with Houston. I think that was a good signing. Obviously, they overpaid, but that worked out for them.
Phil, I'm gonna ask you. Say you're the GM, right? You're general manager of the Raptors. What are you doing? What's your 3-year succession plan? Are you guys aiming for what? How do you make your goals true?
I think their plan's gonna be more than 3 years. But definitely build around Scotty. I think they said the other day that they're finally committed to doing that.
Yeah,
that's definitely, like I say, future MVP candidate, if not winning it. Obviously surround him with shooting. They've got some good defensive guys. Obviously need rim protectors and other playmakers around him, so he's not the only one. Short term, the next step's definitely to move Siakam. Hopefully to get some... You obviously want some a young player with production. Hopefully a higher ceiling, for getting like a all-star caliber guy back. But I think they want draft capital as well, because when they're looking to move, or not looking to move, but when other teams were calling about OG over the last couple of years, there were a lot of first-round picks involved, and they only got a second this year. So I think if you trade Siakam, you got to get some first back, and just build, don't buy. Just do it organically.
Yeah. So succession plan. You see, if I say, how many years until you reckon we can see the Raptors in the conference finals?
Probably a bit over 3. I think
that's a very decent time frame.
I think they can move quite quickly because the timeline's weird. Like obviously Scotty's got a few years under his belt and he looks like that guy already. So that automatically accelerates it. But I think it's gonna be a couple down years. Make some smart moves, sort of play the long game, probably get back in the playoffs in a couple years.
Yeah. And
then hopefully go from there. Obviously that's if it all goes according to plan. It doesn't always.
Yeah.
Kind of want to talk about Siakam though. Anywhere you guys want to see him in particular?
I'll be honest, I don't really give him too much of a thought, which I should because he's super talented. But
an all-star.
I forget he exists until I see the Raptors logo, and I go, oh yeah, that's Siakam's team. And whether that comes down to like media, I don't know if Toronto is considered a large market team, or if they're sort of middle market, because they're definitely not low market. Look, Siakam, he's really versatile. Off the top of my head, I haven't given it much thought to see where I'd like to see him. I would like to see him. I know it's contrary to what you guys are saying, but I see him. He's tried the whole make a home thing in Toronto. I still see a future where he can still be a vital part there. But
it's just the timeline of it. Does anyone know how old he is?
No, we can pull it up.
Because he was I think he was an old rookie. Obviously he spent some time in the G League and won that most improved. I think he's around 30.
Is he? Okay.
So it's like obviously like high value, high production player. I think he's just
29. Yeah, you're
29.
Dead
yeah.
right.
So I think he's ready to contribute to a legit playoff team, maybe a contender. Because by the time Scotty's ready, he's going to be like 32, 33. You never know how guys age.
So I was doing a bit of research.
Wow.
I wanted to see him at the Pacers. I reckon.
Pacers?
I reckon that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Well, the Cavs.
Well, I got
Could you see Siakam at the Cavs? Cleveland's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he's the answer for them. They got a lot of things to work out. I think DG and Donovan's not the backcourt of their future. They tried it and that was fine. They just got to move on from it. I think Donovan will leave if they don't move him. But they already got like a logjam in the front court, like Mobley and Jared Allen. You can't really, unless Mobley's able to become a consistent shooter because he's got the length and the foot speed. If he can play the three, then maybe. But it's not one that came up to mind. I got an article here. It's from Paul Casabian at Bleacher Report. I probably said that wrong. But he put together 3 teams they think Siakam would be a good fit for. So I'll read them out and then you guys can see if any of them stick out to you. So I got the Kings, the Pacers, like Josh said, and then the Hawks was the other one.
Out of all those, the Pacers, to be honest.
I've seen talks about the Hawks, and I just think that also comes back to the Knicks. Do they want Murray? What are they going to do? Like, if he ends up going to the Pacers, then I think it puts the Knicks in a good spot to get Murray.
The Pacers is cool. It makes sense because it's another guy that's solid defensively. I don't think the Pacers need to, like, they're fine where they are. They're gonna make the playoffs at best, like a second round exit. But I think that's okay. I don't think they need to like accelerate their how far along they are with their youth. So I don't love that fit. Like, it fits on court, but long term, I don't think they need to. The Hawks make sense if the Hawks keep the rest of the team together, but I think they're due to blow it up anyway. Like, this Murray experiment, like, it's just, I don't love what Atlanta's doing. Like, I think they definitely need to do that to move on from that. But yeah, if they keep that team together, adding Siakam wouldn't hurt. I like the Kings the most. No?
Well, they already got, what's Keegan Murray going to end up doing?
Sliding to the 3. Harrison Barnes won't be there forever because he's older and he takes up a lot of money. That's
the bonus in the 5. Stay there.
Yeah, it's a bonus because he's a full-time 5. Siakam can go back to the 4.
Full-time fraud.
Yeah, well, I mean, the idea of it is it's a defensive guy in a team that doesn't pride themselves defensively, especially next to someone like Sabonis, who's not elite there. And Siakam, like, his shooting's regressed a lot over the last few years, but at its best, he was like a 36-ish% three-point shooter, and he's been playing in a Toronto team with no spacing, like we said. If he goes to one of the fastest teams in the league with one of the most spacing, essentially the best offense in the league on any given night, I feel like that unlocks him more. And the Kings are kind of just due, if they do want to take that next step. I think they need a 3rd star. So I think he's a realistic option.
Definitely, I mean, out of those 2, Pacers and Kings stand out. I really like your call for the Pacers, actually. I had
Siakam and I think it was Garrett Temple for like Buddy Hield, just a couple at the end of the benches and a 1st.
Oh, okay. Buddy Hield, man.
Which I think they want to get rid of Buddy.
If they can get it done with that. He deserves
better too, but I think that got approved in the trade finder.
Buddy Hield had a great once upon a time where he turned into Steph Curry in terms of his 3-point shooting.
Bro, he's an elite shooter. It's funny. It's you look at a few guys always talk about it, but you look at all the shooting records. Like, obviously Steph, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, they're up there, but because of the volume of shooting now versus what it was when half of these guys played, it's gonna be a lot of guys of like Buddy Hield's caliber who ends up at the top of the record books and the stats, even though he was never a star, but because he's shooting like. He'll get 10 up any given game. Those guys will never shoot more than like 5.
Yeah.
He's insane, man. I think he had a
like
couple
5
seasons where he had the 300 threes. Yeah,
I'm just happy the Pacers are fun to watch now. I was under the impression that Pacers were just stealing and money laundering, to be honest, because nothing was happening with them. They were kind of like that one team. I saw them as kind of like an Atlanta Hawks team where they could make the playoffs every year if they wanted to, but it's best second round exit.
It's the thing, right? Like there was stuff that came out either last year or the year before where, like, realistically, you want every team to want to be as good as it can be, but it's a business for these owners.
Yeah,
they're not always about that. And it came out like the Pacers owner, he was getting money in his pockets whether they win or lose.
100%.
So it's
and most of them would be the same situation.
So it doesn't matter what, because when it comes to building championship teams and the luxury tax and stuff comes in, it's not cheap for these guys. So yeah, they were making a profit. So they didn't need to. But I think getting Rick Carlisle and that Halliburton trade obviously turned things around. So yeah, I like what they're doing because I'm the same as you. They were sort of a waste of space in the East.
Yeah. And look, like, I mean, I know I'm bouncing back, but I just remembered when Pascal he's a 2-time All-Star. But do we think he's going to be an All-Star again?
No, not this year.
No, like not
ever.
We're looking. I'm looking down the lines here. Do we think Pascal will ever be an All-Star caliber again?
For sure. It just depends like what conference he's in. Like, it's pretty heavy in like right now, like the East in particular.
He's forward.
Yeah, he's been a 4 most of his career. He started playing a bit of 5 in Toronto. I think he might have been their full-time 5 at one point last year when they were doing like the 6'8" little thing.
The forward competition in the East isn't crazy. It's the same 3 dudes. every year
Yeah,
who
but
get
it's still
at least the starting spots.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I
you got to
guess-
remember too. It's it's
yeah.
just split the backcourt and front court, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
I think he's got the capacity for it. To answer your question, whether it happens or not, it's obviously the odds are always stacked against you unless you're one of those perennial guys.
Yeah.
I think best case for Siakam is he gets to a contending team where he can be the second option. He doesn't do it as a 3. You obviously don't contend with Siakam as your 1. But if he can be a 2 and play at his absolute peak again, then yeah.
No, praying for him, fellow Cameroon brother.
The-
Hope he goes all the way.
The Christian man himself, Josh Dacey, saying many prayers for him. It was your idea to start the podcast with an Our Father, right?
Yeah, I took the boys through a little ritual we like to do. Some of you guys may have heard of it. It's called a prayer.
Yeah.
I think it's
Who taught you
brings
that?
good energy.
Peter Ollie
Um,
or who was the teacher there?
Peter Ollie,
Yeah.
Mr. Abaruskas. God himself came down, showed me his light.
May one of those high school spirituality days got to you, huh?
10-year reunion soon.
Big chapter in your life podcast starting. He said, let's start with a prayer. Well, I don't know what you guys want to bounce to next, but I'm, as a Celtics fan, very excited to talk about this.
Yeah, well, I was thinking good time to get into All-Star because we'll kind of just
Where's the Celtics fit into that?
yeah, well,
I can tell you 2 reasons why the Celtics fit into that,
Only 2.
and perhaps even a third.
Oh,
well,
don't
today
get-
was the
don't get
first
cocky.
today was the first return of the fan ballot. So if you want to get into yours picks,
Got-
because we're a month away from
Are we
the
gonna
trade
go through
deadline, that's
the-
usually the same as the break.
We're going to go through the voting.
Yeah,
the
do you want to start,
results.
Josh? You tell
Our
us.
votes or like
yeah,
the actual results from the
Well,
public first?
Let's
you got
start
it
with
with
with our
I've
individual.
got mine. Brandon's got the list of everybody else.
Yeah, well, let's go over what the fans did, and then
Go through our snubs
Alright.
or who
Go
should be
over-
there, who shouldn't.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, it is fan voting, so it's going to be a bit wild.
Yes, this is fan voting. What I'll do is I'll summarize the numbers as well. All right, we'll start with the Western Conference. I think
Just-
they do.
Just do like forwards and guards.
Yeah.
So just do one at a time.
Do they do 3 releases of the numbers before All Stars selected, or how does just so we know numbers?
I don't know
wise?
the exact
They do a
number.
couple. I think it's 3 or 4.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first release, Western, we got front courts. So obviously 3 front court players. Number 1, you can guess it. This is LeBron James with 2 million fan votes, give or take. Number 2 shocked me a little bit, but Kevin Durant for number 2, 1.8 million. Shocked me maybe because only we watched the NBA. I think he should have been third to the guy who is number 3, which is Nikola Jokic with 1.6 million.
Is it like the top 2 automatically get starting, or is it still the rest
3
of
for
them?
the front court.
Yeah.
Is this just from fan voting
This is-
though?
this-
Yeah, so
Oh.
the starters is a combination of fan voting, which is the majority of it. It's like 50%, and I think it's 50, and then the rest of it's a combination of media and then voting around the league with players and
I was
coaches.
letting NBA Twitter
but-
pick the starting lineup. It's pretty funny.
It's usually a pretty good indicator, unless there's someone up there like when like Zaza was up there a few years ago. Like unless it's a name like that, usually it's a pretty good
Harrison
indication.
Barnes
So
got
that'll
3 though.
probably be the starting front court.
Well, Western guards, can't really complain with either of them. Number 1 is Luka Doncic with 1.4 million fan votes.
For sure.
Number 2, Steph Curry, 1.3 million. Can't argue with either of those. Sidetracked.
Yeah,
You
I
can?
don't think Curry should be starting this year.
You don't think he should be starting?
I
Well,
also don't think LeBron should be either.
Ooh, that's bold.
You want to back that up with something else,
No,
brother?
we'll come back to
Let's
it.
let's
but
finish
I
the let's
think-
do the East
yeah,
and then
yeah,
we'll.
yeah.
Before we go into this,
debate.
I just want to flag the fact that, which I think this is crazy, but James Harden has got significantly more fan votes than Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, Ant hasn't got enough books. Not even on there.
Book
which
is
crazy.
insane.
Not on there. Knicks fans have highly voted.
Austin
Bro,
Reeves,
Austin Reeves
and
is
Klay
there.
Thompson made it on there.
Klay Thompson deserves
After
like,
his whole
death
spiel
instead of
about
All-Star appearance this year.
Whoa.
Clay just had a whole spiel about how he has to take a back seat and gets rewarded with guards. I think he was very self-aware of him, but the fans, what are you doing, guys?
What
I
are the
can
fans
say
doing?
I've
Yeah.
voted every day, and I'm not putting those heinous picks in there.
I can't say I have been. I stopped doing All-Star voting a couple of years ago because it's like I vote for the people I think deserve to start, and usually the starters are right. It's just, yeah, if you play in LA, you're going to get votes. Like Austin Reeves is going to be top 10 until it comes out, but he's not going to make it because we don't pick the bench.
Eastern Conference front court is pretty standard. Your
Big 3 that it is every year.
big 3 days every year, and I really don't see an
Yeah,
issue with
change
the
for a while.
order of them. Number 1 is Giannis with 2.1 million. Number 2 is Joel Embiid, 1.8 million, and number 3 is Jason Tatum with
All
1.7
good
million.
for the game. All fun, all stars. Like there's some players that are good. You just don't want them in an all-star game. But
Yeah.
all 3 of those, like
They're fun.
Always highlights.
They're good to watch, yeah. And I think they're 1, 2, 3. Fair enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, I had all three of them in my team.
Josh makes a really good point as well with some guys deserve it, but it's not the kind of players that people want to see in a All-Star game because I know you got it in front of you, but Sabonis, he was either real low on the West front court or he didn't make it at all.
He did not make it at all.
Yeah, and like you can't tell me that Sabonis isn't an All-Star reserve this year.
No one wants to watch him.
Exactly,
he's
but
not fun to
turnovers.
Yeah, like he's not an All-Star game type player, but he deserves it on his resume. So that's
There's
the
always
catch-22.
Like I think Rudy Gobert a couple years ago, he ended up having like 30 points.
Bro, he was just dunking everything. They were just throwing him
like,
lobs.
we don't want to just see regular dunks. Like throw some lobs.
And I could be misinformed here, but Jimmy Butler, number 4 front court, and Jaylen Brown 5. Could be a bit biased, but I've not heard. Maybe I've just not heard much of Jimmy.
He's been getting into it, but I don't think either of them should be 4 or 5.
Well, you like arguing Jaylen Brown should be 4?
Neither of them should.
I mean, from what I've seen, I might be undereducated on Jimmy, but I think Jaylen Brown deserves the 4 over
Julius
Jimmy.
Randle should be.
I'm of the mindset that like Boston's obviously really dominant. I don't know if they get 3 All-Stars, or obviously not more, but I don't know if they get 3. I think if they get 2, which they will, it should be JT and Kristaps.
Oh, Kristaps is a very good,
Really?
is a very, very good call.
For Boston's All-Stars,
He's
I
been good,
would pick
to be
KP
fair.
over JB.
He's actually stayed healthy too, which is massive for him.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, it might be a
legend.
narrative thing, but there's something to be said about when you come in and you essentially change the whole makeup of a team.
100%.
Like, they look unbeatable.
Yeah, it's hard,
Obviously,
yeah.
they're not undefeated, but...
Until they play them, their Magic,
Probably
they're
not.
unbeatable, bro.
Bro, I watch these Celtics games and I'm like, there's been a couple moments in the last couple of years we've had the conversation. It's like, who's beating these guys in a playoff series?
Themselves.
Yeah.
Themselves.
They'll just forget how to play basketball for 5 games.
I just pulled up
That
Jaylen Brown
is-
versus Jimmy Butler stats for the season, just to make the argument. Brown's averaging points 22.7 to Jimmy's 21. Jaylen Brown's rebounds 5.1 to Jimmy Butler's 5.
The rebound.
Brown's assists 3.6 to Jimmy's 4.5.
What are the turnovers at?
I'll take that for you.
Okay.
Field goal percentage, JB is shooting 48, and Jimmy Butler shooting 46. Turnovers, give me a second. I'm just gonna have a quick little look here. Regular season over here, JB is looking at 2.6 turnovers a game, which Jimmy's would be very low. Jimmy's turnovers is 1.8.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess it could go either way, but we'll get back to the task at hand.
I mean, yeah, the numbers are super comparable. My argument for Jimmy, there's something to be said about doing it as a first option on a playoff team. When Jaylen Brown has multiple other guys to take the pressure off him, Jimmy's getting the best defender every night.
That's fair.
But I'm not mad about if both of them make it.
We're also not trying to watch defense in the All-Star game either.
You don't want Jimmy there. Well, that's the annoying thing about Jimmy. He doesn't play in All-Star games. He makes it, and he like doesn't suit up because he doesn't want to. Like, he'd rather rest.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking someone else's spot.
I know. Yeah,
And if that's Julius Randle's spot, then we got some issues.
I do not know about that.
we have
this month.
Eastern guards are a good
Here we go.
mixed bag
Here
of
we
nuts,
go.
really, if I'm being honest. I don't like anyone from really the bottom 2. Which
Who are the
makes
bottom
sense.
two?
Sorry, apart from the first 2. Number 1, very deserving, is Tyrese Halliburton.
He's a lock.
Oh,
I hope we all have
I
him.
totally forgot.
Number-
Did you forget how
Halliburton.
you
Okay.
fix your list while Brandon reads?
No, I'm
Number
staying on
2,
business.
we have someone who deserves to be there, but maybe not this season. Is Damian Lillard. He's been playing a bit lackluster this season.
I'm in agreement with you. I wouldn't put
I
Dame
wouldn't.
as a starter
No.
personally.
3, 4, 5. You have Trey, Donovan, and Tyrese, all in that
Trae
respective
Young
order.
is third.
Trey Young, and I'm
He's
gonna
been
make
good,
I'm gonna
but
make a
again,
case for that
it's-
guy not being that high, but yeah,
Like
so
he's fine off the bench. Like again, he probably deserves a spot. But bro, there's been better guards. Where was Maxi? Is he? did you
Maxi
read him out?
is number
Fifth,
5.
right? Yep.
I think he should be up there for.
I think that's a very valid
and then
number
there's
for him.
one more that I think should get the starting nod.
Well, bleeding into that now, we've gone over what the fans have said. Josh, let's start with you. You give us your rundown, brother.
Well, I'll do my 2 guards. I did forget Hallie, but I'll sub him in really quick, so I don't have his stats on me.
I can read him out.
I originally had Brunson and Maxi, who are averaging identical points, assists, and rebounds. But I'll take Maxi out and put in Halliburton. So
Yeah,
Brunson
so-
and Hallie.
Hallie's averaging, rounding everything, 25 points, 13 assists, shooting 50 from the field, 41 from 3. He's played in 30 games. The Pacers are 19 and 14, 5th in the West.
He deserves it for sure. I just totally
Yeah.
forgot about him. I forgot about someone else too, but I put him in before the start. But Brunson's averaging 26, 6 and 4. They're 19 and 15. He's carrying that team, I guess, apart from Julius Randle this month. But probably should have made it last year. I know there's a lot of guards, but
I'm cool with.
I'm cool if he comes off the bench, but he should make the team.
I'm cool with Brunson starting. I don't think that's my pick. My only thing is like he's obviously got like a huge chunk of the offensive load on his back, but they're 8th in the East, and I think most people projected them to be better. So if they're underperforming, it's like how much credit can you pay towards that?
And what the Sixers are 3rd, so I'll probably give that to Maxey too. But
yeah, well,
either also, I like both of them. So they
well, I
on the
mean,
bench,
there's no
on the
wrong.
starting, I don't really mind.
There's no wrong. It's just what you value more. Like I think when coaches vote for All-Stars, they look at team success a lot. Fans probably don't nearly as much. So it's worth noting, but it doesn't have to be a deal breaker. Like I'm cool if Brunson starts.
And then my last 3, my forwards, like no controversy here: Tatum, Giannis, Embiid.
Yeah, I think
like
we
I really
all have those 3.
Yeah.
I tried to
don't
have a
talk about
controversial pick. I couldn't. I had a 6th just in case, who I think is someone that deserves it, but Banchero.
Oh,
He's
okay.
been really
wow.
good.
That's cool.
Averaging 24, 5, and 7, then 19 and 15 in the 6th seed. I think that was a bit unexpected.
Yep.
Magic being good for once.
And
He had a 40, 47 or something in the AAT game yesterday.
Just touch on the
Crazy.
Magic too. It's so rare for a team that young to find their identity defensively. Like, that's insane. A lot of these young teams, they sort of project up to like one of the best offenses in the league, and they just can't stop teams. And the Magic is the opposite, so they just work out offensively.
They have like 5 or 6 players averaging over 10, under 20. Like there's just such a widespread.
Mate, and they're such a long team. Athletically
They've
wise,
got long levers for sure.
They're such an athletic.
Well, Paulo's like a legit 7 foot, bro.
He's
And his
big.
second year too. Like his sophomore year, you forget that. He's done the American stint.
Yep.
He's come back.
I say let's stick on the Eastern side. Phil, you can give us your Eastern. We'll do my
It's
Eastern.
just
We can
guards
wrap
really. We
around
have the
with
same
the-
3.
Yeah, well, I
Front
mean,
court.
like I said, the front court we all got the same. Real quick, just to pay the respect to it, but Embiid's like, is he best player in the league this season?
He's playing out of his mind.
Like I'd still probably pay. I'd pay best player in the league to Jokic still.
Same.
But like, who's having the best individual season right now? Like, it's not even close.
I think it would be less of a controversial topic as well if they didn't give him the Mickey Mouse MVP last year. Like he actively is playing like an MVP right now. He's averaging 6 assists.
Yeah.
His playmaking to the
Well, that's
kickout's
all
been
Nick Nurse,
crazy.
right? Like they've unlocked their offense because he's like a hub. Like you see, Jokic obviously does it. Sabonis does it. I've seen Bam do it. But you put your 5 when they can play make as like the hub, and they're creating for everything and everyone around them. And it's like he just runs the whole show as opposed to just getting touches in the mid post.
He's
and
still averaging 35. He's had 3 triple doubles and has had multiple 10 assist games. Like
he's reminding me of I don't want to say when he first got back from the injury, but maybe a year or two after he got back from the injury, there was a point where, as a Celtics fan, you'd be a little bit scared every time Joel touched the ball because you go, mid range, touch the ball, he can pull that up. 3-pointer, he hit it with some quite high consistency.
I think this is the best he's ever played.
There was a bit of a dip there where I wasn't as a fan scared of Embiid. Now, even when I watch a game that's not against Celtics with him playing, I go, he can do something with any position he's in.
Yep.
And I don't think they've won a game when he's rested either. So it shows, I think that maybe 1-5 now.
Yeah, true.
Which shows his importance.
That's good.
But it's also crazy. He's got 35 points per game and Max is on 26.
Yeah.
I think Marquise Morris Sr. is averaging like 12 the last 5 games. They've got people everywhere. The OG. Ball Paul puts in the work.
The guy who could guard LeBron. Remember?
I think they're pretty dangerous.
I got Halliburton too. Like I said, that's a lock. I hope all 3 of us have that now that Josh has fixed his list.
Yeah.
But my second guard's where I struggled. Like Josh made a good case for Brunson and Maxey. Trae Young's obviously having a really good season, but I've always been big on the Hawks heading into seasons. Like I've always had higher hopes than what they've panned out to be. And I'm just sick of them this year. As much as I like Trae, I don't want to give him the starting nod because that team's just so...
I was going to say,
definition of seen that stat with the record. I've
600, 600.
That, but like...
Yeah, definition of mid.
But they've always 0.500. Like, it's just so boring. They beat the best team and they lose to Spurs. Like,
and they should be way better than they are now. That's why I kind of don't want to give it... Even though it's not entirely his fault, it's like...
You can't give Trae too many flowers. Aside from his individual playing, which is amazing, but I agree with you there wholeheartedly.
And I don't want to give it to Dame either, because he's having a down year.
It's the worst I've seen him play since.
Yeah,
being
and
really
it's
like he's like not number one.
I called it.
I think his numbers are better than it looks when you watch the games, unless he's having a good game. Like, still putting up 25, 4, and 7.
And they're still the second seed, 25 and 10. Like, it's...
Yeah, it's just... For me, it's just that the Bucks, even though they're winning, it looks wrong. Like, I think everyone had an idea when the trade was made that there would be a lot of, like, Dame Giannis pick and roll action, a lot of, like, DHO stuff. And it's kind of just, like, your turn, my turn. And it's so, like... They've gotten better because obviously it's a rookie head coach as well. And you got to give him, like, half a season to work it out. But I've not enjoyed the Bucks so far.
So I think you watch them play and it's like they look average.
Yeah.
And they look a lot worse than a 25 and 10 team.
And I knew this would be the case. Like
Lopez is leading the league in blocks. Like, they've got a bit of everything happening.
On paper, Dame and Giannis are a great pair, and I not a lot of my takes, but a bit of what I say just comes from just gut instinct. I have this gut instinct, man, that the Bucks weren't going to be. Yeah, don't get me. They're still a second seed, albeit
they should look unbeatable though. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like, they're still really good. They just should be amazing.
I feel like if you were to ask any fan right now if you're putting Celtics against the Bucks, people would say the Celtics are beating the Bucks.
I will say though, credit to the Bucks. This is the kind of makeup team where they get to All-Star break. We have these takes, and then once they're back from All-Star break, they just roll through the rest of the conference. Like, I will not be surprised if they still end up being as good as we projected before the season.
We have to give them the respect because they've done that so many times. Even last season, it was a similar thing. Came back from All-Star, and they were the most winningest team after the All-Star break.
Too. Like, everyone felt like Chris Middleton's still there.
Yep.
Absolute random.
I think Donovan's worth giving nod to as well. He's averaging 28, 6 and 6, 46, 35, 90 splits, 2 steals. He's obviously not great defensively, but he's getting it done.
Future Nick.
Yeah, the Cavs are 19-15. They're 7th in the West. They probably should be better. Like I said, it doesn't look as good as we thought it would.
He's missed a couple.
Yeah, he's played 25 games.
They look better when he's there, for sure.
Yeah, so I'd probably give my second starting lock to Donovan. I like that pick. I'm safe with that. Again, Maxey and Brunson, I respect. I can agree with that, but I'm probably giving it to Don.
Wow. All right. Interesting. That Donovan pick, I mean, surprised me just in some regard.
I forgot about him, but I did check over him before.
I just want to see where your Donovan pick lines up in terms of the fan votes. What number do we say Donovan was? 4?
I think he was
up
5th.
there, which that's what kind of reminded me. Well, did you have anyone that wasn't said already,
Brunson,
Brandon?
That was 5th.
Hey?
Did you have anybody we haven't said yet?
Yeah,
in
I
your
did.
Guards? Oh,
Donovan Mitchell
Should be top 4.
is looking. He's 4th.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm cool with that.
I mean, we were all pretty agreeing on the fact that trade number 3 is way too high.
Donovan Mitchell's gap from Ohio.
So mine are the exact same as. Oh my god.
Is he done, baby Gronk?
That's a
They're in attendance at every home game.
Heard one, bro. My goodness. It's funny because Phil's pretending like he doesn't say these things on a regular basis because he's on a podcast now.
We're millennials.
Oh my god, huh?
Well, who did you have?
Same as Phil. My 1, 2, 3, 4 with Embiid, Giannis, Tatum, and Halliburton. My second guard, and I'm being dead set here. This is Jalen Brunson.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
King.
I thought you were about to say another name.
Oh, no. Not Jalen Brunson. I enjoy his game, and he's a fun player to watch. I know his stats have been very, 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 very good this
26,
season.
6 and 4, but he never had a 10 assist game. He's had over 10 assists his last 2 games. And so he's helped with that as well.
He's number 6 on the fan votings, but
which is disrespectful.
Yeah, when we're talking about a fun player to watch,
in New York as well.
Yeah, everyone in New York Twitter's going off. Like they've all just forgotten to vote.
This may be a horrible
Randall's not even
take,
on there.
But when I see Brunson, like when Brunson's hot and he's playing in a Knicks jersey,
bro, unconscious.
Not only unconscious, yes, but he reminds me of like D Rose a little bit. I don't know what it is.
Like,
not athleticism wise.
Is it because he's like electric? You think?
There's something about where I'm like he gets the ball. I'm like, oh, I want to watch what this guy does in the entire possession.
Like, not so much post style.
Yeah,
I don't play like whatsoever. But I get like the energy.
There's just something about him, and I can watch Brunson even when he was on the Mavs before this. I remember saying, oh, they've overpaid him.
Oh,
I couldn't have been more wrong about that.
In the moment was fair.
Yeah,
because he had that one good playoff series. Took them past without Luka. That was the first time anyone really seen him play.
I really rate him, and just as we were talking about the fact that he's an all-star player, you put that guy on the court in the all-star break, he's going ham. He's making a fadeaway.
For sure.
You know, he
leads the league in post-up points for guards. When he very rarely has a bad game.
Yeah, he's very consistent.
he's only been there for 2 years, but it's like kind of weird to think about. He's not an all-star, even though he's only really been good for a year and a half. But he just feels like he's been better for so much longer.
Good round on the Eastern Conference. Now let's attack the Western. A little bit more freedom here. I'm very interested to see what we think here.
I thought that, but then it ended up being very boring. Do we do the backcourt or the frontcourt first?
Front court.
Let's go all 5.
All right. Obviously, Jokic, no surprise, starting center. I had Kevin Durant in the 4.
Yeah,
I think that's where I struggled the most to find somebody. And then looking at his stats, he's playing better than I thought. 36 and 6.
Oh wow!
He's been the most
36 and 6.
30,
not 36.
Oh,
just
sorry.
in case.
Yeah, I was like, when is it
6 assists,
36?
6 rebounds. I think he's
So
been the
many
most
B doing that.
consistent out of the big 3 for the Suns, and he's like his assists lately has been crazy.
Yeah,
and he's been playmaking.
Yep.
I had Ant in the 3 after originally forgetting him.
And in the 3,
Ooh,
wow.
I like
Okay.
I respect it.
I know he's more of a guard this year. And I think I
Well, some
originally
players
I
are
had Anthony
eligible for
Davis
both, so-
originally, and I just couldn't figure out who to take off. So Ant's averaging 26, 5 and 5.
On the best team in the West.
Yeah, first seed 24 and 9, and then my 2 guards I had Luka and Shea.
As a ex Wolves fan,
I don't have a
man,
team.
how does that feel?
Seeing
My
Ant?
Wolves.
Seeing the Wolves being well, I mean, Ant, you've been calling Ant's number since he came in.
I've been calling the team's number.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But I don't want to say you jump ship, but when D'Lo, for context, Phil's a D'Lo stan, so it's one of those things where it's
I like role players, and he's my favorite one of the bunch.
D'Lo.
Yeah,
And because of that, your attention shifted from the Wolves at one point to the Lakers.
yeah. I watch more Lakers games now, but I still try and catch Minnesota as much as possible. But they're like
impressive, man.
I mean, I've been singing their praises for years because I think the makeup was there. A lot of people didn't like the Rudy trade, but
I think he's finally settling, which is good.
yeah, and even though it was an unorthodox fit, it just always made sense to me that if you put the best defender in the league on one of the best offenses in the league, one way or another, you're going to find success. They got riddled with injuries last year. Chris Finch still had to learn how to coach. He's matured as a coach. The D'Lo trade helped them because even though he's a better player than Mike Conley, I think having a low maintenance, just secure point guard helps that team more because it gives Ant the keys.
Cat hasn't been very good this year, and they're still like
he's slumping a bit lately, but
he started well, but his last month it's been pretty hard to watch.
He's slowed down a bit, but he was at one point assumed 50, 40, 90 as a big. He's picked it up defensively a lot too.
After all that, he's still playing good basketball.
After all that,
and Jaden McDaniels hasn't even been that good yet, and that's again I like role players. That's another one of my favorite players. He's like meant to clamp the best players
I
in
think
the league.
the biggest
He's just been a bit.
surprise,
Nas Reed.
Nas Reed.
Nas Reed, man. Nas Reed. We had Nas Reed.
Bro, he's in and out crossover like every time he does it.
Bro,
so
every
good.
game
Every
it feels
time,
like.
everyone falls for it. And they've got basketball terrorist Jordan McLaughlin. And they're still winning games. What, second best team of basketball? Were number 1 for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think they're second overall.
Oh, I thought they think the best team.
No,
in
Celtics are still first overall. But
They sort of switched.
Oh, in
every other day.
basketball,
In
sorry.
Yeah, the
yeah,
entire league.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, yeah. Did you finish your?
And then I had Luka and Shea as the guards. I think
Yeah.
both are averaging a plus, like over 30. Luka's basically averaging a triple-double. He's carrying that team. Like, I think they're safe.
Yeah,
Shea's
no
probably had the biggest jump
No
I've
disagreeing
seen.
with any of your picks.
Shea's like easily top 5 hardest to guard players in the league in terms of like what you see when you watch.
Man.
Like just teams don't have
That
an
team's
answer for
been
him.
fun to watch.
His stats don't
Bro.
show it, eh?
I saw a
They
crazy
only got
stat
one
though.
guard.
I saw some crazy stat where he's like on post up shot attempts as a guard, he's shooting like 27 of 33 on the season. Like 90%
Tune
on
into
post
a
ups,
game.
bro.
He's like always got 30 plus. Like
Bro,
no matter what part
insane.
of the game. Chet's been unbelievable.
Chet is. We're winning the Rookie of the Year
Someone
race
else has
by
been a little bit busy
quite a
off the
convincing
court,
amount.
but
I like a lot of that team. Not everyone, but I like a lot of that team.
Jalen Williams, incredible jump this year. He's had a couple 30 bombs.
Chet's looking like Rookie of the Year. I think you just said his name.
It's pretty crazy though. They play with 4 people on the court. One of their guards is just not there. He's
Not there.
not there mentally. Maybe check his flight logs. See where he's been lately.
Who'd you have, Brandon?
Yeah, I think mine was a bit of a not curveball, but no, not really.
Speaking to himself.
Yeah, like Mr. Y, huh? Center, I had Nikola Jokic. Obviously, that's no surprise there. I then had LeBron James.
Yep.
His numbers have been.
Starting. I know he's 4
I know
years old.
his
yeah.
No, not even if anybody else had his stats. That's all-star stats.
I will say about Bron, like age aside, he could be. He's what 39. He could be 35, 30, 25. The way he's been playing, he looks like a
all-star.
legit top 5, top 7 player in
What
the league.
position will be putting? Is he forward this year?
Well,
His
just-
majority of forward could be the backcourt.
It's just front court, back court. Yeah,
Front court.
he'd be a front court so far because I know they changed their lineup. I still think by the time the voting's done, he still would have played majority of his minutes as a front court player.
Another person I put in there, which might be a curveball, is Anthony Davis.
I had him originally.
Yeah, AD has been playing out of his mind, in my opinion.
Might get the Defensive Player of the Year award this year, finally.
Could do.
Yeah, it's hard for because both players deserve nods, but they're like about to slip out the play-in. So it's like, how do you have
they're
two All-Star starters?
500 as well.
Yeah, like I'm not saying your vote's wrong. Like it's just like more so from the Lakers' perspective. You've two arguably All-Star starters, and you can't be a playoff lock.
Yeah.
They'll both
It's
make
obviously-
it though, I reckon. Like,
yeah.
pretty safe. Anthony Davis might have to come off the bench, but
Yeah, like they'll both get, and they do deserve it. It's more so a Darvin Ham issue rather than any of the players.
Luka Doncic was my next guard. No surprise there.
Yep.
And this last guard spot, it's controversial, maybe. I picked this one because I know the other person who's a contender for the spot is going to get votes anyway. And I just wanted to see this guy
be different.
in...
So-called free thinker.
I want to see him in the All-Star, even be considered in a starter. But I put Anthony Edwards as the next guard.
Oh, bit of a curveball. Mate, it's the most obvious guard pick.
I'm loving the Ant love.
Yeah.
I actually didn't pick Ant in my lineup. I should have.
Did he make it? He didn't make it last year, did he? Or did he?
No, he did
is
as
he
a-
All-Star?
it was like
As
an
a
injury
backer.
replacement.
Took Lamelo's spot. Hey, I think he did.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Something like that. But for
fire
me,
off, Phil.
yeah, I had my front court was Jokic, Bron. I think they're locks. I was looking for my third. I was looking between Kawhi and KD.
Oh yeah.
Because I wanted to give Kawhi the nod. I mean, quick stat rundown: 25, 6 and 4, 52, 44, 88 splits, 2 steals, 1 block. They're fourth in the West now. Like they're rolling. They're
On a
21
good
and 12. Yeah, like they're going crazy. And I wanted to give him that nod. And then I was just like, let me just check what KD's looking like.
Yeah, I did the same
Bro, you
thing.
can't not give it to
No,
KD.
yeah.
Like
Kawhi
Josh
was
read
my
his
spare
numbers.
pick as well. I had him
Wonderful.
originally, and then I checked KD. And
We
I
gotta
was
start talking about the fact that KD's also getting old.
bamboozled.
Yep.
And
That's
he's
kinda sad.
he's still up. He's
To
young.
KD's credit,
Especially after that injury.
on a team that's had zero consistency this season, KD's been like the one to show up every night, perform every night. Like he's been the consistency in
And
inconsistency.
after a major Achilles tear as well, like
Yeah.
what he's doing, like I would
That
not
was
have the
years ago now,
confidence
you
in
don't even think
myself.
about it,
It's
hey?
crazy. Like Kobe did the same
His
thing.
bounce
And
back
was
crazy,
never
yeah.
himself.
Yeah, well, he
again.
was way older too.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Do continue.
My backcourt was Luke and Shea. It's
Kings.
it feels weird to not give it to Steph. Like I think everyone knows I'm a huge Steph guy.
Bro, even today, like I just can't. I can't do it
man,
anymore.
They're just
I
skidding,
can't.
and it's like
The insanity run is over.
insanity. Well, it's weird. I can't picture Steph in another situation, but I just like hate seeing this Warriors team together right now.
It's like I watched today's game and like
Bro, it's a rough
they
watch.
were up 20 with. Oh, they were up 20 style in the fourth, and then it's still up double digits with 3 minutes left, and they lost.
And then Jokic did Jokic
Wasn't
things.
surprised
Crazy
by
game
it.
winner.
Curry had 2 turnovers in the last 2 Warriors possessions.
Really?
He choked
On this game?
today. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole team only had like 4 points in the last 5 minutes.
And which is what led to the
The blown lead.
And Jokic hit that like half court slingshot. Showed some emotion. Didn't have to work overtime. 4 a.m. Serbia
Well,
time.
he was
horse
happier
races.
for that shot than he was winning the championship.
Yeah, honestly.
It's because horse racing starts 4 a.m. Serbia time, so he'll get home for it. That's true.
That was a I liked our picks.
I like that we had different picks.
Yeah,
And it's hard to as well with this because usually like 90%
There's
of
not a
the
lot
guys
of
just
variety
stand
this
out.
year. Like
yeah.
the 10 people in each conference are all in everyone's votes.
Yeah, but no, I think it's cool having a bit of differences.
Can't wait to see Quinn Grimes come off the bench for the All-Star game this year.
I'm
Please.
just waiting for Dick, bro. Grady Dick. I can't wait for that.
He's not. I think he qualifies.
No one. We can't soundbite that. Hopefully, don't soundbite it.
Clip that.
Look, that's gonna wrap up the NBA side of it for this
Yeah.
week.
We know ball boys.
There's gonna be a lot more, and we can discuss this. But I had the idea just then of maybe once we get deeper in the playoffs, maybe we can meet kind of post a big playoff game and discuss the game, that specific game in general. But that's further on down the line. Big things that happened this past week / coming up. Obviously, Playboy Carti and Travis Scott released a new single, not on streaming platforms, surprisingly.
So I don't have any thoughts.
Actually,
I've
not-
listened to it once.
Not
Never
even
listened to it
surprisingly,
again.
just stupidly. Some people calling it the greatest song of our generation.
Is it really that good? I haven't listened to it. If it was on streaming,
It's the worst of the 4 releases.
I'll be honest. I'm with Josh.
He's released 4 singles.
Is it a Carti album they're rolling out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Backrooms is that the one with Travis?
Backrooms is the one with Travis. 2024 is the one with Kanye in the video.
One.
That's my second favorite one.
Why are they not rolling out on streaming? Does anyone know?
So I was
people
telling
think
Josh
this isn't even on the album. Like people think it's like it's gonna be like leftovers, which they're surely not now. With this drop the Travis Scott song.
My opinion is that he hasn't dropped an album in 3 years. Last one was 2020.
Since Christmas.
You have, as an artist, you have to check and make sure if you have 3 years of waiting time, people are waiting for an album. What you're gonna put out in an entire 24-track album, if it's the same vibe, you want to know that people are gonna receive it well.
It's working.
So you don't put it. What he's done is putting on a platform where if it's on a platform, it's then on your discography, and people can say, "Oh, that tainted it," or "We're not keen on it."
So you think it's like trial and error?
Put it on a social platform, Instagram, YouTube, to see engagement. What does that do? How are the fans receiving it? And then you decide whether you either say, "Oh, these are scraps, I don't want it," or "This is what the album's like."
He also hasn't been like before this. He wasn't active on any social media for like 3-4 years. So he's on Instagram again. He's posting, like people are seeing it. He's like sharing DMs with like every celebrity.
Yeah.
Bro's like asked Ice Spice out on a date via song.
Bro has Camila Cabello on his roster.
He's just like us.
That's a weird crossover.
He's like dating Camila Cabello apparently.
Yeah,
Camila Cabello's on his roster for sure.
Shawn Mendes kicking the bucket right now. He probably hates himself.
He's a good-looking man. He is a really good-looking man. Yeah.
He's got a kid with Iggy Azalea. He's doing alright.
He's not ugly. Weird vibe, but
also won't be the album of the year because Baby Keem's dropping this year.
And so is Kanye. Or is he?
No, Kanye will not be number one. Can't be the best album in 2024.
I'm trying to listen to more music this year, so I'm excited for it.
You know what's going like crazy this year? Unwritten. Absolute banger.
Bro, I'm glad
From
they
the
brought
new
that
Sydney
song back.
Sweeney movie.
By Natasha Bedingfield. Yes, sir.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah, Brandon, you wouldn't know it.
I have no idea.
Had
All
no
I'm thinking about is
expectations.
the platypus late night shifts when Phil and I are working and we can play Playboy Carti on the last 15 minutes.
Bro, I've been listening to Freddie Gibbs lately.
With the Freddie Gibbs with the
I know nothing
Not
about
what
him.
I
thing
expected.
on the
I've been
which
listening
one
to
are you listening
Alfredo.
to? Yeah, that's good.
I know nothing about him. Someone sent it to me. Mac from Macro Ball Pod. Shout out Mac. Mac sent it to me. He sent me Alfredo, sent me the link. I knew nothing about this dude. I know it's produced by this Alchemist dude.
Yeah,
nothing about him.
They're good together.
Bro, that shit is good though. Like the beat production sounds like some wizard did it or something. And he's got cool flows.
I'd go back and
bro,
listen
you
to
love Playboy
Bandana.
Carti if you're
No,
talking about beat production.
Yeah.
I think his album before that's called Bandana, and that's like a really good album.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Bandana man.
I'm like halfway through the album, but there was a song called 1985 and then like a song called Baby Shit or something. And it's cool, like good wordplay on it and stuff as well. Like, so I don't listen to a lot of music, but I'm trying to listen to more this year.
You've got Conway on there, you've got Tyler.
Yeah,
you've got Rick Ross,
Tyler
I
a cool
think,
verse too. I listen to that on the way here.
They all go together.
Since we're talking about new people we're listening to, bro, on that note, I don't know if you've heard of him, but Big X the Plug, bro. My brother and I showed him Big X the Plug. He reminds me, he's like a Biggie character.
That's the one we used the song in the...
Correct.
Shout out Big X.
Yeah, shout out Big X. Shout out Aaron who helped us with that.
Yes, sir.
But
I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen
Big
him.
X the
Aaron in the
Plug.
cut.
He's like a Biggie sort of character from Texas.
He has a song with Offset, doesn't
And
he?
his producer. Oh my goodness! Like, I'm not overhyping when I say it's some of the best production I've heard on like a.
Is this the
rap
dude
beat.
that's like produced other stuff, or is it like a low key thing?
I've never heard of this producer before,
Okay.
or I might just know him, but his producer is just out of this world. And even Big X the Plug as a rapper, I really encourage you all to listen to him. At least one song, like it's nuts.
Is Big just the name, or is he
He's big.
big fella?
He's big
fella.
fella.
I'll add it to the
Biggie.
list. That's cool.
On
Shout
that,
out to him.
and this is might be a bit of a Kanye stan conversation, but do
There
we
you
really
go.
think he's dropping on the 12th?
No, it's already been like since we've taken notes for this, it's already been confirmed. That's not the release date anymore.
Oh, seriously?
It's got no release date again.
Back on Apple Music.
I think it's maybe there, but I think it's coming out somewhere that like there's no official release date for it now. I think it's coming out this year for sure. He's not going to delay it over a year.
Well,
But Life of Pablo
You
was
never
delayed.
know.
Life of Pablo came out 900 days late.
you know what Phil made me realize is the fact that we fall for this every single time.
You
Man.
fall for it every single time.
I
I'm gonna
like-
say we, Josh, because
No.
if anyone looked at our DMs when it's 2 days up to a Kanye release,
I can vouch
We're
because
gonna
I'm in
say
the group
we.
chat where both of you get
We're gonna
excited
say
over
we.
these release
No,
dates.
I was hating on him.
we're gonna say we.
You be
don't-
setting aside time on your Friday afternoon for a Kanye album that you know that's not dropping.
Well, I've got nothing else on. I'll check Spotify at 3
Hey, look,
p.m.
and there's no shame in the game. There's no shame in it.
Oh,
No
I'm not
shame
hating.
getting
Look,
head on a boat.
I like Kanye's music.
He
I look
doesn't
forward
care.
to new
None at
Kanye
all.
music. but I'll never believe a release date from that dude until it pops up on my feed.
Yeah, or until you're halfway through the album.
And
yeah.
like
Yeah.
T.Y. Dollar Sign should be
then.
activating to get this out.
Bro.
Like his monthly listeners are gonna like quadruple. Like he's gonna be balling.
And Ty Dolla Sign's never been the one to just blue ball, you know, for an album.
T.Y. Dollar Sign standing here.
And
Kid Cudi's album drops on the 12th.
Oh,
It's got hidden features. Should be good. Young Thug's got a feature, I've heard.
I wanna go to the moon.
That was really good. Shout out to
Thanks
Kid
to Kid
Cudi
Cudi for
featuring
joining
on
the first guest appearance.
We
But I'll always stand Kid Cudi. I think all the Kanye
Yeah.
fans are back to liking him now that they're boys again.
It was a
But-
good phase you were in, the Cudi phase before the.
Oh, I love
short-lived.
Cudi. I never
it
hated
was
on him though.
the
When
shorter-
Kanye turned on him.
the shorter of his phases.
Yeah.
I'm no longer depressed.
Yeah, for those that
The
don't
phase
know,
is over.
for those that don't know, Josh goes through phases where he starts listening to an artist that it's an artist everyone knows, but he's like never really paid him much mind, and then he listens to them religiously for like
It's a
3 to
wide
6
mix of
months
categories and genres too. It
until
changes.
he's burnt out on them, and then we never hear about that artist
Ever again.
And the Kid Cudi one was very short lived. Like I think he bought every Cudi album
Ever.
across like 4 weeks, and then I never heard him in his car again.
The Dua Lipa one was a pretty good phase. He was
I
in.
still like. She just needs to drop music.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Dua
I
Lipa,
feel like that's that one's continuous.
but I don't really have a phase right now. Maybe
You're on your Taylor Swift phase.
no, that's over.
Oh,
I've got the concert next month, but like I don't think I've listened to a song on Spotify this month.
Who's driving with you down to Sydney, brother?
I booked flights yesterday actually.
Oh, it would have been me.
So my number one song this month has been Unwritten from
That's hilarious.
which I play that back to back.
Shout out Natasha
And
Bedingfield.
then I've been going back to a whole lot of Red because this Carti
Oh.
rollout. So Teen X with
Whole lot of
Future has
Red,
been
whole
my
lot of
number
Red.
second song.
Maybe I
And
should go
then-
through that. That might be
yeah.
good for me before.
It's a
this
lot,
new
but I
one.
think you'd find songs you like. And then Olivia Rodrigo's always in my mix as
Yes,
my
sir.
top artist.
Phil and I were having a chat one night, platypus shift, late night. You know, that's where the it might have been
shoe
midnight
store for
shift.
those-
Actually,
for
that's where
those
the
overseas.
creative juices come through. Yeah, it's a shoe place.
Overseas listeners.
And we were talking about Jose Zuniga, and I just want to bring this guy up because I think it's important for us to really
Anyone in high school
dive
in
into
2010.
just about how important do we think this guy was in shaping maybe not our generation but ourselves in general.
Not gonna lie, you guys were like glazing him back in high school.
I did
like,
not think you were actually going to bring up Jose, bro.
I brought up Jose, but I'm
I
here.
would watch some of his shorts on Instagram, but I was not investing in his YouTube videos. You guys are obsessed.
Yeah,
14-year-old me could not care less about the kind of perfume you're wearing.
Bro, old school teacher man's fashion helped a brother out.
that was huge, man.
Bro, you heard about something that you needed to do as a man and you as a 14-year-old hadn't learned about it yet? You go teacher men's fashion YouTube, you type in what it is,
Yeah.
you watch the 8-minute video,
Yep.
you look at the sponsorships that it's flooded with that you can't buy because
Which
you don't
are
have a job.
All his brands, by the way.
It's a
Rinse and
$10,000
repeat, bro.
watch that I'm sponsoring.
And let me just say this: he gave you a boost of confidence when you didn't know what to do. He would,
Maybe
you know,
you needed that.
That's why
It
I
was-
didn't watch. I didn't have any confidence.
it
back
was.
then.
I didn't take any of his advice. Clearly, if
I
you
was
look at any of
I
my
was
stuff from high school.
trapped.
Look
but-
at your old fits.
Hey,
Old colourful
God,
rainbow
man.
over here.
it was a pick and choose of advice, but no, he was good in terms of fitness, in terms of just like grooming, in terms of hairstyles, in terms of how to make yourself like really presentable. He did a lot. He did a lot for me personally in my adolescence, and I just want to shout out to
Jose, man. Shout out Teacher
Jose.
Men's Fashion.
Love
You
that
know,
guy.
I just want
What's he
to
up to
make this
now?
clear.
Is he still doing all this?
Manscaped is his brand.
Yeah.
He'd
So,
be balling then if
it's
he got a bunch
huge
of
now,
brands, 'cause
but
that brand alone's massive.
I remember when he bought it out the very first time. This is when we were
you
glazing
guys
him.
both bought the lawnmower. Hey?
I bought it. I didn't like it,
You
but I
trip-
haven't tried the new one, so I can't say
Clipped your
anything.
balls, isn't it?
I never bought the Manscaped. My brother had to buy it, but
You
This
guys
was
needed
after,
it.
and
You guys
I-
needed it when
you
you were
know.
like 5 years old.
mate, have you seen us? So yeah, I just wanted to really just to give the shout out to Jose there. Look, it's an exciting time. We're in the new year, and call it a bit of a wind down topic, but I think it's cool for us to kind of reflection's a big one. I like to do a bit of reflection from my previous year, always when it's out of sort of that new year time, and think about things that went well, things I didn't really enjoy, or things that I want to do better in the next year. It's cliche, but that reflection time really helps, and I've had New Year's where I've gone into it without doing that reflection, and I just feel a bit, convoluted and confused. So, 2024 travel plans, work plans, friends, family,
Friends.
careers. What's our goals around the table?
Oh, let's not get too personal, but
Oh, man, open floor. Before I get into 2024, I've said it a bunch in front of you guys. I'll say it again. That last year was the best year of my life.
100%, man.
And that's
W.
80% because of
W.
you guys as well. It was cool. I had a cool moment when we were at the little rooftop on New Year's and the fireworks were going off. Like I was just chilling.
Yeah,
And I was
Kristen
like-
said she saw you. Like,
Yeah.
just, like, taking a minute and looking calm.
Yeah, well, it was only like 5 minutes, but it felt like an hour because I felt like I just like replayed the whole year in my head, and that was like that was a good time. I don't dwell on things. My main focus is to just build on it, make this year better. But the fact that last year was so good and it wasn't meant to be, last year should have been the worst.
And I just want to give props where it's due. This guy,
Bro.
he had every reason to just kind of quit throughout the year. Multiple
He had a
reasons
whole
throughout
city
the year
against
to
him,
quit.
bro.
And it was I'll say it's quite commendable seeing you just be like, oh, on to the next one. Like a real sort of stoic mindset, which I know now we joke about, but it was that stoic mindset before we even were seriously talking about stoicism.
I mean, it was cool, man. It's easy when you got good people around you as well. Like I think the biggest difference is not just letting any and everyone have input, but mainly just like being selective with the people I surround myself with, people that are like-minded, people that are things that I want to be, intelligent, down to earth, people that stay grounded.
100%, which is all three of us, right?
And then all I had to do when I did that was put myself first, and that was cool. But 2024 wise goals, career. I won't get too deep into that on the air, but I got, for the first time, like it's clear in front of me what that avenue is, what that looks like, what I got to do. So that's something I'm really excited about. That's a priority. I think a resolution of any sorts, or maybe a goal. I just want to tap into my creative side more. That was kind of what inspired this for me. But I feel like my brain's just always ticking over a bunch of creative ideas, content, things like this.
Wise
something
old
I've never
man.
tapped into, and because it's always like my only hobby ever has just been hooping like 24/7, and like I love basketball, but that's I'm not going to the leagues. That's not my entire life.
Yeah.
So trying to find like different ways to tap into that, facilitate that, but make it something else for myself, for friends.
Yeah.
That's what I'm focused on. What about you?
Yeah, no, you're dead right. I mean, career is always a focus for me personally, but I mean, this year, obviously that will remain a focus for me. I want to continue the whole do experiences that I've never experienced before, and I know we've been talking about traveling, and I want us to say where we want to go.
China 24.
Yep, China 24. Then
I
I
start
just
getting ready to book that.
didn't want the fans to come and swarm us when we're in China.
If you're
I know
listening from China,
They don't know what month
DM
we're
us the best places
We're
to
very
get
big.
food.
We have a very big presence in China. So to Chinese fans, ni hao.
The Indonesians and the Chinese and the Singaporean people love us.
Yeah, they all love us. But just really the focus on experiencing new things. I'm starting to understand that I'm only 22, going into 23, and these are like years of my life where I want to try things and know if I'm wrong, and if something doesn't go right, this is when I want to learn it, rather than being 27, 28, 29 and having that could have, would have, should have. I don't know what would have happened if I did this. So that's kind of my overarching mindset into things. And yeah, this podcast has given me like a whole new sort of passion. I think even though we're publishing these things, I think it's cool that the fact that we can just sit and have a chat and even just see each other once a week that's not basketball is dope.
Huge. Seeing the boys.
Seeing the boys.
Hard sometimes.
That's cool though. Like, good for you, because that's that realization of being how young we are. Like, I think I had that last year, because a lot of people after that like clocks over is when they realize. I think it's definitely an environment thing. I have this conversation with my sister a lot, but because a lot of people that live here don't like when you say, but Brisbane is like a big country town.
Yeah.
It does have like a culture of people settling down really early. They start families really young. They sort of jump straight into careers, and there's nothing wrong with it. I don't want to put it like that, but like me knowing you guys, knowing what you're capable of, the potential you have, the ceilings that you have, it's just like, it's really key to be aware of that and spend the next 5, 6, 7 years. Like, you can slow down when you're 30. You can sleep when you're 30. You can coast when you're 30. You can start a family when you're 30. But to put yourself first now and like really try and tap into and unlock what you're capable of or as close to, I think that's big. And I hope that's something all three of us really do this year and years to come.
It's our group's inspiring, which is, and if I can glaze us for a second, it's cool because I feel like we are all through different stages at all different times, and it's like if you're struggling for motivation, then you can just look at one another and go, oh, this person's picking me up today, or this person's
come
like,
be friends with us.
Phil's morning TikToks, keep waking up and taking the day by charge.
Good morning.
What about you, Joshy?
Well, you've both covered pretty much it all. Just new experiences, keep learning.
Hell yeah.
So I'll keep it lighthearted.
Hell yeah.
Stack money, get bread.
Stack.
And
That's always the goal.
Finally
Always.
getting out and traveling with the boys. But in general,
100%.
just traveling in general. Like you boys said, we're very young. I want to experience things around the world, different cultures, how people do things. I don't want to be in Brisbane my whole life, so good to experience other places while I can. Before you know it, I'll have severe back issues. Won't be able to get on a plane, and I'll be stuck where I am. So, yeah, I think China is the destination.
China,
for this year.
China 24.
I've got a few like Sydney and Melbourne trips for sport and stuff, which will be good. I want to sport's been a big part of my life, my whole life. To kind of get back into that. AFL is very Melbourne centric, so spend as much time up there as I can in between work.
But you'll get there.
I got a question, and I guess we can use that to sort of close to wrap it up. But how key or how big do you predict this year to be for you guys? Like, if you try and picture you in 12 months, is this a year where so much has changed inside and out, or do you think it's one where, and there's no wrong answer, it's just how you guys view it, but is there somewhere not much shit has changed? You've grown, you've learned, everything around you looks kind of similar, but you sort of prepare to take that on later?
I'll be very honest here. Each year of my life, from after high school, has just been better than the other, right? Every year has kind of outdone itself in its own...
linear growth?
Yeah, it's in its own organic way. In my heart, personal, I have a lot of things that I want to achieve personally this year, and part of my wishes. But at the same time, I want, and this is being religious, but I want God's plan to happen in my life in His way. So... back to your question, do I think it's going to be big? I have plans for it to be big, and I will do everything I can to hopefully make those plans big and make them occur. But in the same breath, there are things that are out of my control, and I'm content with whatever He puts in front of me, that to be the course of the year.
That's cool. What about you?
Yeah, very similar. I think the big years for me have been the last couple. I've done a lot of growing the last few years, so I don't see it being a whole character redevelopment this season or this year.
For sure.
But... more kind of individual achievements I want to do, and more so experiences again and maturing and stuff like that. Kind of gain some new wisdom on the world, have some new outlooks on things.
Let's keep building.
Nothing too crazy, yeah. Just keep moving forward. As Kid Carti and Kanye West once said. So nothing too exciting there for me, but you never know.
Cool, man. No,
could end up the year living in the Turks and meeting Drake. So who knows?
Mate.
What about you, Phil?
I think if I try and picture where I am in 12 months, obviously things never go perfectly according to plan, but if it somehow did, I think it's going to be quite a big year, because I think it's, like I said, I'm always trying to learn from people around me. I'm always trying to grow internally and be better each year, each day, each month. But I think if I do what I have set out to do this year, I think the things around me is going to look really different. That's what I'm excited about, because... I've definitely lived in my own bubble for the last few years. I haven't got to see too much for, reasons in and out of my control. But I think this will be the first time where, things start to really shift, and I start to experience what life looks like outside of just me. And it might be a bit of a shock, but I think that's going to be even more learning and growth than last year, which is what I'm really excited for. I used to be scared of that stuff. I used to hate change, but I try and embrace it now, because I think I've shown myself how important it is.
I'm super keen for both of your years. I know what a year you've had. I know what a year you have, and I have a very good feeling about your year, Josh. I
agree.
I look at you and I go, oh, there's something's gonna happen.
Maybe I'll grow a bit
really good this year, this year, and I don't know what that is, but I just feel that. And
hope so.
For you, Phil, I feel like this last year was like the tip of the iceberg. So I'm keen to see how we go there.
I'm excited for you all, man.
Look,
yeah, you had a good end last year, so it'd be exciting to watch you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's a decision you make.
How many beers will you drink this year?
Oh my god! If we're gonna average about 6 a weekend, just times that by 52. Give or take.
Someone else can do the math.
We're gonna have to
300 something.
We're gonna need a Joshua Block drink tracker for Brandon.
Bro's being generous.
All right. Well, look, guys. First one in the books.
First one in the books.
First one of many.
It only gets easier and better from here.
First one in the books, guys. I think Aaron just pulled up the numbers. That's 312 beers. So average one a day.
So you cut down in half from last year.
Dude.
Look, as Phil said, it gets easier from here. We've locked the first one in.
Second, if you count episode 0.
This
that
is
will
true.
never air.
Episode 0 will never air.
That will never be heard
if
by
we
people
manage
we know.
to get Elon Musk on the podcast at one point, I will consider airing a slither of episode 0.
A 10-second snippet,
A
perhaps.
10-second snippet. Once we get a following, what we'll do is, and I'm making this right now, we'll
Someone
tell
send me
you.
a lot of money,
We'll tell
find
you
it.
the following, or you guys, how long the podcast is, time-wise.
What are we at now?
If we
Does it
get Elon
say?
Musk on the podcast at any point, you guys get to pick a 10-second snippet in the comments or in
Like a
and
time
however.
frame. Pick the time frame.
Oh,
you
time
from
frame.
like across the
From
entire
across the
timeline.
entire
So it can be
timeline.
the first 10 or it can be the...
It can be anything.
And
And the most liked timestamp is
I
what
don't know
we
why
will,
I'm getting nervous because we're not getting Elon Musk on the show, dog.
the most liked timestamp is what we will receive. But get us Elon Musk, and if you all want to
Hey, it's
hear
fine by
our
me. I
lives
wasn't
end,
on it. I wasn't on it.
we'll
I'm
release
trying my
those 10
hardest.
seconds.
I'm in the clear here. I wasn't on the episode.
All right.
I've heard it's pretty foul. Let's just keep it at that.
We'll keep it at that until we get Elon Musk
well,
on.
Thank you all. Shout out to a few replies I've had during this recording.
Yeah, facts.
Dean, Zeke, and Jake.
Shout
Dean,
out,
Zeke, and Jake, shout out your
Shout out
man.
to
They've all
everyone.
replied to my story in the first hour.
shout out to
Hope you're
everyone
listening.
who's been supporting us.
Stay rizzy
And we'll be back in a week's time.
from Ohio.
You all enjoy, stay safe out there. Take care, brush your hair.
Lizzie Dunn.
Yes, sir.
Skibidi
Stay grounded,
toilet.
pod man, just the beginning.